Everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Cocoa Nomad, where we talk about financial and location independence and remote work. So let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, which is going to be the first of my income stream reports. So I talked about in a previous video my 7 streams of income that I'm planning for 2022, and I'm working towards that. But I wanted to go ahead and get in the habit of reporting on my efforts so far and getting, sort of get into this flow and starting to think about how I want to approach this moving forward. Now, this is my attempt to diversify my income. I did another video called How I'm Implementing the 10% Rule. And sort of this is one of the ways that I'm looking at individual streams and increasing those streams over time, and the goals over the years to start to supplement my main source of income. And the thing that I found interesting about this as I was getting started is that even as I was planning this, I noticed that my main stream of income changed. And I thought it was really fortunate and beneficial because it helps set the table for the future, to not expect that the main source of income is always going to be the same source, and if I'm moving for one of these side hustles to go and be the new main source, and I'm starting from a place where it's already in flux, I can start to better plan and sort of not be disturbed if something like that were to happen in the future. So let's go ahead and dive into this July report, which is just, again, my attempt to diversify my income sources and balance and mitigate my risk over time, as I'm still trying to make a living and a life abroad or wherever I happen to be, which is still traveling around the world. So I want to break these things down initially by source. Now, if you want to go ahead and see the video, I'll drop a link. I don't know if a card is going to show up. I'm pointing up as if there's something there. It's just a bright light right here. But I want to talk about those sources individually. And I'm not ready to talk about it in terms of the actual number, but in terms of the percentage, because that's really what my goal is to diversify the income and to have a balance. And the balance can be represented as a percentage just as easily as it can be represented by a raw number. So, and with the percentage, it can already give you the sort of ratio, a relationship between these sources. So my stream sources starting with full-time income. And for July, that number is big fat 0. Why? I hadn't started the job yet. So not having the full-time job, having just accepted the offer and not having started, there's not any income coming in. So even though I'm planning for that to be the primary moving forward, it's not the primary right now. But that allows us to go to the next one. And the next one is consulting income. And for consulting, I do a lot of consulting for my software development work, but I also do consulting in the realm of remote work and coaching and training. So I put all that in the same bubble. The consulting is including my coaching and public speaking as well. I've done some paid public speaking as well. And for the past month, that source represented 98.8% of my income for the month of July. So that should give you an idea of where I'm starting from. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start with this July report. It lines up evenly because it is I can do a Q3 and Q4, but you can start to see oh, wow, starting from 0 because there's money, but just understanding. So the rest of these are going to go fairly quickly because they're not that large. So you can see, even the police know that. Courses is the next section. I'm continuing to work on courses, but right now there's 0 because I haven't launched a course yet. There are no courses. And those courses would be in the areas of both remote work, financial planning, these kinds of things. Well, not financial planning. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not giving financial advice, but sort of how to look at your own picture, just ways to look at it. And so more entertaining in the financial space, but definitely training and teaching in the development space. I have a channel for software development, and I will have courses around building software. But I will have some other ones around sort of remote work and building your life the way that you want to, being a remote worker, whether you decide to travel or not. So those courses will be coming as well. So nothing there yet. Media, this is the grand plan for this channel, but not just this channel. I think if you looked at the income streams video, it's listed as YouTube, but it's really more than YouTube. It's YouTube, podcasts, and blogging. So I'm just looking, all of this is like media, because I do repurpose a lot of content. The audio from this you will hear on the podcast. There was a blog post about the 10% rule before video came out. So I definitely do a lot in that regard of sort of getting that message out in different ways on different platforms. So I'm just going to group that all together. And so far, zero. And I will say that number, while I'm saying it's zero now, is not really zero. It's not 100. Well, it's not zero because I have made some money from the podcast, but it's so small right now, and I haven't gone in to break it out by months. I think I've made a total of maybe $17 since I've had the podcast, which is about 2 years old. So maybe even 2.5 years old. So right now, I'm going to label this as zero for July because I don't think I made any money in July. So I still think that's accurate. Just wanted to be full disclosure. Over time, I have made some pizza money basically from the podcast in the last 2.5 years. The next source is digital products. And digital products are apps that I have in the App Store, or any sort of digital guides that I do as far as travel or remote work or things of that nature. So any of those kinds of things, a PDF that I sell, or an app that I have in the store. I mean, those I have listed under the digital products. And for the month of July, it was $8.48. I said I wouldn't give the amounts. Well, if you're good at math, you're about to find out. 0.4% of the month of July. I'm not even cutting this out. You can have it for the month with the apps. And it came from the App Store, actually. Almost all of that came from the App Store. Ironically enough, I was doing some work, and I had to make a change in the settings in the App Store. This is the Apple App Store, not Google Play Store. And I didn't even realize that one of my apps wasn't on sale. Like it because I hadn't accepted a new agreement, it had been removed from the sale. And so when I went back in to do it, it's back in the store, it's available. So that's where the money came from. And then the next category is merchandise. And for merchandise, the amount is $5.92, and it's 0.3%. So, I mean, I've already broke the seal, so let's keep going for the amount that I got from merch. And that's basically the proceeds from selling 2 t-shirts. I only sell two t-shirts. I do sell shirts on my merch account, and I'm going to show you one here. You've probably seen me wear it in previous videos. This is one of my designs. I mean, this is really simple. It's not like anything profound idea, but I love Swift. I love programming in the programming language. And so I make shirts that are geared towards other programmers in that space. So this past month, I sold 2 t-shirts, and that was great. And then the final one is investment income. And investment income is the passive stream that you hear a lot of people talk about passive income. And yeah, it takes some time to get there if you want truly passive income. So, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a minute, but the income from the passive income is from investment income was $11.21 last month. It's just 0.5%. So you can see that I'm heavily leaning into the consulting for the month. I'm overly reliant, actually, and I definitely want to change that. And so that kind of helps when we look at the diversification by type. Most of those activities, the top 2, the full-time income and the consulting income, are what I consider active income. Like I have to trade time for the money, and I work a unit of time, I get a unit of money. So it's like either a salary or an hourly rate. Even if I've done this with projects, even when I do a fixed bid on a project and just value price it, there's still a number of hours that I still have to make, and then it's done. So I still put that into active income, even though it's not necessarily purely trading time for money. I am trading a block of time, and sometimes it's just unknown. So I just price it up front based on the value of the product and then deliver. So that's the active categories. And then I have what I consider scalable income. These are income sources that a lot of people consider passive, but I don't, because you still have to put work into them on a frequent basis. But the nice thing about them is over time, the income can scale, and it's not directly correlated to the amount of time that you put in. And those are things like the courses, media work, digital products, and the merchandising. So all of those go into what I consider scalable. And so for this past month, it represented about 0.6% of the income stream coming in. Thanks, Apple. And then finally, the passive income, which is only one of my streams right now. And that one is investment income. And that one, as I mentioned before, is just 0.5 or 0.5%. I am going to be working really, really hard to get that number up as quickly as I can over the next years or so. So you hopefully, as I'm revealing this, and I'll probably do a separate series of videos that I will dive into those numbers where I'll actually give actual totals and stuff. So we'll see. But right now, that balance is that active income is 98.8%. It's really, really high. I don't want it to stay that way. And I'm working really hard to change that with things like this channel. So moving forward, what are my plans? Just going to keep working the full-time job, getting started, just sort of learning, contribute to the team, just kind of get acclimated. The job does have, it has a base salary, but it does have a performance bonus. So, but the performance bonus is sort of a team effort. So we'll definitely be working hard with the team to make that, to make sure we hit our goals for the year and get that bonus if we can get it. For consulting, it's just ongoing work and feature work on the apps that I'm working on to help them. For courses, what am I going to do to start getting one of these other scalable things? I actually have started with exploring teaching platforms. I think I'm settled on Teachable will be the platform that the courses will be offered on. They have some courses about using their platform. And so I've gone through some of that material and I'm continuing to do that while I'm thinking through what my first course will be. For the digital products, I did draft a city guide. I was living in Playa del Carmen and previously for that Antigua. And I thought, well, this would be helpful if I just put together a nice little city guide that you could buy for a couple of bucks that would give you like a nice overview without having to go out here and watch a ton of videos and go out and go troll into a bunch of websites. Just like convenient, gives you like a bunch of the major points that are important beyond just, hey, this place is nice, this place is beautiful, it's cheap, or you can eat food here and this is the nightlife. Even more than that, stuff that questions that you're going to ask when you get on the ground that you're going to want to know. So that's what I'm working on. And so now that I'm back in Mexico City, I'm thinking I'm doing for here too, but I started with Antigua and Playa del Carmen. So I'll continue that work and just kind of getting opinions from other people to get a feel for what it's worth. And when it's ready, I'll announce it on this channel, make it available on my website and things like that as well. And then for the media section, I did take a bit of a break. I don't know if you've seen the recent what I'm working on video. I went home, visit family, got a new baby in the family. We got a new baby, and I'm like, he got all my attention, quite frankly, deservedly so, because he's adorable. And I didn't really make any videos in the month of July. There wasn't a lot going on, or August really even, so kind of bleeding over into the beginning. So trying to make up for that now, and I'll continue to just create content both in the blog and on the podcast and on this channel, just keep things going, sort of, sharing the journey, but providing information. I'm hoping like the things that I'm providing are helpful. Merchandise in the merch section, actually haven't really done anything, taken any action. I've kind of let it drip. And that's the one thing about having this many streams is you have to be really careful, because you can take your eye off the ball for some things. For me, the merchandise isn't a big driver. It's not a source that I'm like putting my hopes into. It's more of a creative outlet. Because I started doing that, it actually gave me the benefit of learning how to use certain tools that are helping me in other areas. Like, for instance, making thumbnails for this channel, doing better presentations for the courses and things of that nature. So for the merchandise, for me, it's like, oh, I thought of a phrase or something I think is funny. I put it on a shirt. I don't spend a ton of time on it and then I drop it. If someone likes it, they like it. If they don't, I don't run any ads. I don't do anything like that. So that's an income stream that I don't really like. If that one gets to 10% and stays there, totally okay with that. And then finally, the investment income, which I mentioned, I am absolutely going to be driving that one hard to try to get that one up as quickly as possible, because I think it buys me more freedom and flexibility to do more things. So right now, I'm just trying to learn about investing. Now, I've done some investing before, but I sort of got out of the markets years ago, sold all the stock that I had, and I didn't really want to play in that pool. Now I'm ready to sort of get back in there again. And so I've been learning about options and some dividend investment strategies, because those are the two areas I'll probably be investing in for the most part. So we'll see where that goes, but I'm still just learning, just taking in a lot of information, trying to devise a strategy that works for me. So we'll see how that goes. So that's it for the month of July and the income streams, the report. If you like this, please click like and subscribe. If you want to see this ongoing, click the notification bell and you'll get a notification when the next one comes out. And I really, really appreciate support, and have a great time. I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.